It's the last Saturday of the month of September in the year 2025. Good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news app here at Adesawe Kanda. We're live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana and on DSTV's channel 279. My name is Josh Queenie.
And I am Judith Brown. Coming up in the bulletin this afternoon. This afternoon, the Fix the Country convener Oliver Bakavomo calls on state agencies for concrete action on land and water pollution cleanup efforts as part of illegal mining fight.
As Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa celebrates U.S. visa restriction reversal, Imani's Franklin Kujo says Ghana deserves a better deal after accepting deportees from the USA.
And also this afternoon, Ghana's most beautiful GMB Adjudged TV program of the year 2024 at the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana CIMG Awards. We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Do stay with us. Welcome once again to the bulletin. We start from here. Now, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has announced that the U.S. visa restrictions imposed on Ghana have been reversed. Ablakwa said, per the latest development, Ghanaians can now be eligible for 5-year multiple entry visas and other enhanced consular privileges. It is recalled that the United States introduced new visa rules for Ghana, limiting most non-immigrant visa holders to single entry visas valid for just 3 months. Well, according to the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Consular Affairs, the new policy affected the majority of visa types, including B-class visas used for business and tourism, as well as F1 student visas. Meanwhile, founding president of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, has criticized Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa for celebrating the reversal of the U.S. visa restrictions on Ghana. Kujo argued that the government could have negotiated better terms like reducing the 15% tariff on Ghanaians, especially after accepting deportees from the U.S. Well, he called the visa policy shift a pittance and not worth celebrating. Also on this particular subject, because Professor Daniel Dramani Kipo Sunyedi is an associate professor at the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy, LESIAD, at the University of Ghana. He's joining us for more details on this. Good afternoon, sir. Now, this deal with the USA to revert to a 5-year visa, some have claimed was part of the MOU Ghana signed to accept deported West African migrants. Now, the government has denied this, but coming just days after, would you say that this is a coincidence?
Good afternoon. Thank you for dear listeners and viewers. I think that the government should be commended. That's my perspective, for making a diplomatic breakthrough. But the restrictions certainly were not in the interest of Ghana. Quite a number of Ghanaian business people, tourists, and Ghanaian students would have suffered with a 3 months single entry visa. So for this decision to be reversed, I would think that the sector minister deserves a commendation. We need to thank him for doing a very good job through the diplomatic processes that went, whether memorandum of understanding or whether the precondition for accepting West African deportees. Those things they don't matter much. As a government, what matters is that whatever policy that you take must be in the interest of the citizens. And I think that government ability to work with the U.S. Authority for the reversal of this policy government should be commended for that.
Well, Prof, we know that Ghana is amongst the African countries hit with a 15% tariff. Now, given this new agreement, is it possible that Ghana could also negotiate a reduction in those tariffs?
Yes, certainly yes. Because if you look at it, the U.S., the Donald Trump trade tariff is across board, but yet countries use diplomatic channels to be able to seek a reversal. Look at China 50, 70, whatever, but it moved in another direction. You can see even the British government, UK government, Prime Minister, and Trump, they are working behind the scene, Macron. So Ghana certainly can use the same diplomatic channels to possibly even downsize the 15%, possibly even 5 or 10%, or even lesser. So it's all about your ability to use the diplomatic channels, work through President Trump and his team of ministers. And Ghana can do something better than current situation. And I believe that under government economic diplomacy policy, government has the ability to bring it down further. Yes, it's possible.
Well, there's a saying in diplomacy that something must give for something. In this case, do you believe that Ghana gave up more than it gained?
I do not think so, but I believe that government, what we are getting is a win-win situation. Certainly, government also accepting to allow some West African people that are surrounded to come in there was a good gesture to the American government. At the same time, it does not pose any security threat for Ghana doing so. It's much more a humanitarian. And so certainly it's a win. The American might have gained something. Ghana has also gained something for working closely with the American government. And I think that is what diplomacy is all about. You promote your interests as long as the other party will also promote his or her interest. And Ghana interest, I think, has been promoted so far with the dealing with the American authorities.
And Prof, lastly, before you go, we know that Imani Africa's Franklin Kujo says that Ghana deserved a better deal after accepting deportees from America. Do you share in the same content?
We haven't seen the detail of this agreement to see whether Ghana have not gotten enough or Ghana has gotten little. So, but for me, I think that it's a very good policy on humanitarian grounds, which Ghana have decided to open a door to support some other West African citizens to get to their countries safely. And if you look at some of the conditions at the deportation centers, some of them were chained in their legs and in their hands. That is quite inhuman treatment. So looking at all this, the government of Mahama and the sector minister, Honorable Okudzeto, they have decided to come out that we will create room and allow these deportees to find their way into Ghana and possibly use diplomatic channel, let them get to their respective country. That is a very good one. And I believe that Ghana will also get our fair share, and that is part of this visa restriction. And that is a very good one. Can you imagine a Ghanaian student going to the American to stay for 2 years, will be given 3 months? Certainly, it is not the best. So for it to be reversed, certainly, I think that it serves Ghana's interest. Though we still expect government to do more so that we get more benefit.
Well, Prof, we appreciate your time with us. Professor Daniel Dramani Kipo Suneji is an associate professor at the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy, LESIAD, at the University of Ghana.
Well, if you just tune in your Central here on TV3 in more news this afternoon, Ghana's Most Beautiful GMB has been adjudged the TV program of the year at the 2024 Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana Award, CIMG, and the win at the 36th Annual National Marketing Performance Awards underscores the show's enduring relevant and transformative impact on Ghanaian television.
TV program of the year 2024 is Ghana's Most Beautiful TV3.
For nearly 2 decades, GMB has captivated viewers, serving as more than just a beauty pageant. The show has successfully carved out a niche as a premium platform that exhibits the culture of Ghana and the continent with a purpose. GMB's success is deeply rooted in its commitment to promoting the rich heritage of all 16 unique regions of Ghana, highlighting their distinct people, values, and traditions. It has become a powerful force in redefining beauty to emphasize intellect, culture, and social impact, thereby actively promoting national unity. General Manager for 3 Group at Media General, Akofa Banson, expressed immense gratitude for the collective effort that secured the top honor.
A huge thank you to the CIMG team, to the team behind Ghana's Most Beautiful. I mean, this award is a testament to your hard work, and we say thank you. We see your hard work and we appreciate it. And to our loving supporters, our loving viewers at home, who have supported Ghana's Most Beautiful for the past 19 years. Thank you. This is for you as well.
The CIMG Award for TV Program of the Year 2024 is a clear indicator that the show's formula of culture, beauty and purpose resonates deeply with both the audience and industry experts. The management promises this recognition will translate into more exciting episodes to come.
We will continue to bring to the platform showcasing of Ghana's cultural heritage, and we'll continue to empower young women on the platform. This Sunday especially, we're focusing on Africa. People should look out for what the girls will do on Africa, and stay tuned.
The awards event itself, held under the theme Repositioning Brand Ghana, Marketing for Economic Growth and Transformation, provided a platform for a national call to action. National President of CIMG, Michael Abiu, strongly urged marketing practitioners to leverage their expertise to effectively reposition Brand Ghana.
Determined to make the repositioning of Brand Ghana not just a theme, but a reality. The time is now. The opportunity is ours, and the choice is yours. Together, let's build the Ghana we envision, a Ghana that is prosperous, competitive, and proudly positioned on the global stage.
The win is not only a major accolade for Media General, but a significant triumph for content that champions Ghanaian culture and heritage.
And once again, a big congratulations to the Ghana Most Beautiful team right here at Media General. Let's do some more stories now. Food and Agricultural Minister Eric Opoku is seriously concerned about the dangerous levels of toxins found in the country's soil and food crops. Alarming levels of mercury, lead, arsenic and other toxins were found in test samples taken from food growing yet galamsey-prone areas. The minister told Kemini Amano in a yet-to-be-aired edition of Hot Issues that there are efforts to mitigate the impact.
If these toxic materials find their ways into the food that is produced, we are doing something that is inimical to the health of our population.
When you find the toxins in the soil, say you go to a place like Konongo where we are told that there is very, very high mercury in the soil, you find it there, then what next? What are you able to do for the farmers?
In fact, when you find it, it means that that soil must be treated.
Okay.
You have to reduce that thing in there. It is something that is polluting the soil.
Yeah.
So you get it out. You treat the soil.
But it will be challenging for you if we continue to mine with these.
It is. As for the illegal mining, it is not a matter of being a challenge to me as a minister or to me as a citizen of this country. It is a challenge to all of us as citizens of our country, because we are polluting the environment. We are destroying the land. We are destroying our water bodies. So what future are we bequeathing to the upcoming generation? Yes, we are blessed with the gold, but we have to use proper means to harvest so that we don't destroy the entire environment.
If it is as dire as we have just, enumerated, is that not the reason, why your government should immediately declare a state of emergency in these areas, these hotspots?
In fact, personally speaking, from my personal point of view, when you declare a state of emergency, you announce that I have declared a state of emergency. What next? Will that solve the problem immediately?
What do you think?
That is just a statement. It must be followed with an action, a clear action, a clear pathway directed at arresting the situation. And that is what we are doing. So the last time the president engaged the media, he was very articulate, very frank on this matter, that efforts are underway. We have not exhausted our efforts, our opportunities to deal with the challenge. So let's confront the challenge head on, deal with the challenge, and then when at some stage we realize that we have done our best, but we are unable to contain it, then we go to that extent.
And remember that Hot Issues airs tomorrow Sunday at 1 p.m. We'll stay on this because Dr. Charles Nyaba is a former executive director for the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. He's joining us for more details on this. Doc, good afternoon. Now, as a peasant farmer yourself, and with reports that these dangerous chemicals are finding their way into farm produce, how worrying is this for you?
Let me say good afternoon and good afternoon to the listeners. I think it's very worrying. And when we talk of Galamsey, we hear the cry from other groups, but we are the primary victims when it comes to that. I always try to classify the impact into two on our activities. We have the direct one and the indirect one. And usually when we are discussing this, our focus is always on the direct one. But the indirect one even have more dire consequences on all of us than the direct ones. Now, what are the direct impact of the activities of this Galamsey on our activities in recent times? Our farmlands are gone. We are all aware of that. Tree crops and then food crops are gone. Other important livelihood crops like the contumely we all know about, the wild yam that we all know about, snails that we take, which also add up to our nutrients in most of the communities that we are based, are all gone. Indirectly, when you look at the pollution that we do to the biodiversity, to the water bodies, all the beneficial bioorganisms that support in crop production are all gone. So when you even produce a crop, there's beneficial insects that support in pollination to ensure that we get good yields are gone. The other area is even our own farmers who are youth. You go to most of the Galamsey operating areas, and when you even do a farm, apart from the fact that the youth run and leave their own farms, you are not going to get labor to use for your farm production. Let's go to a place, I'm even giving you an outlier, not the main areas in the western, eastern, and the central region, and then Bono region. You go to a place in Upper East, Talansi district, for instance. Today, the farmers there are crying because all the youth have run and left the place and joined the Galamsey activities. So Galamsey has become so attractive that the farmers themselves see no need to stay and farm. And in other jurisdictions where the farmers have the power, they sell their farmlands to people to use for Galamsey activities. And this is something that we should all be worrying about. Now, the other bit is the health issue, which I always do not want to go into that conversation, since we have scientists and researchers who are dealing with that. The mercury that finds its ways into the water bodies also finds its ways into the plants. And it's affecting the crop yields, it's affecting our yield, our health, and our entire activity. So it's that dangerous to the existence of farming and where we operate and our own health.
Is impacting livelihoods of yourself and other farmers and members of the association. But what support do you need to protect your farm from contamination?
You see, we think that even though government is trying its best, but we don't think that that best is yielding the results that we are expecting. There is no impunity measures on the big guys who are involved in these activities. When we talk, you go to Galamsey areas, you arrest the people who are causing the damage. They are not the main owners of the Galamsey fish. The big guys are sitting in the cities. Some of them are big businessmen. Some of them are even in government. It is the reason why we are not able to fight the canker. So government need to show more commitment and ensuring that if you say there's no Galamsey in a particular areas, especially on farmlands, on forest lands, on river bodies, that should be it.
Right.
And anybody who found himself in those areas should be made to face the law. But what we are seeing, I'm just telling you what the farmers are thinking. The farmers are thinking that all governments are playing politics with them. They think that, they always say, we are fighting Galamsey, we come and do this. But at the end of the day, they are not seeing the results that we are expecting. So we still think that we shouldn't see this as something that is benefiting a particular group. Look, nobody gains in this galamsey activity. Everybody is a victim, including you yourself sitting in the media there. Because the food comes back to your household and you consume it. You consume bakery. So you feel the impact.
Well,
and
Doc,
if there's shortage of food, we have to import.
Doc, you're saying that government's efforts have not yielded the much needed results. But what about government's decision to declare forests and water bodies as security zones? Would you say that it is enough to protect farmers, especially since many farmlands and irrigation sources are affected by illegal mining?
That is long overdue. That's what we have actually been expecting to hear from government. So it's a very welcome news, and then we actually want to appreciate and acknowledge government for that. We commend government for doing that. And we think that it shouldn't just end with forest lands and then water body. It should also extend to farmlands. So in a whole, there should just be security, national security on the galamsey activities. So we are strongly backing this government. We are supporting them. So that's why we voted massively. Go to all galamsey operating areas, go to farming communities. We voted massively for this government. And we hope we will not be disappointed with that decision that we took.
And before you go, do you agree with calls for a state of emergency?
Of course, we were the very first people who even recommended that there is a need for call for state of emergency. Because look, our food security situation is something that we should all be worrying about. Now our cocoa industry is going down, our rubber industry is going down. You go to mining galamsey activities areas, and crops like citrus, which I don't know whether you are aware of this Obuasi anchor that those days we used to mention.
Right.
It's gone. Contombre and all those wild yam that we used to enjoy, everything is gone. Snails are gone. Okay? Maize and cassava, everything is gone in those areas. So we continue to depend in other regions. And now the galamsey too is scaling up to all other areas that we used not to have galamsey, and they will do farming. When we relax and this thing continues and people now begin to see that, okay, this is gold that I can get, I don't need to invest on farm, which will take me 4 months for me to begin getting results, they'll also convert their lands to that.
Right.
And that is very dangerous to all of us.
Many thanks for your time. Dr. Charles Nyaba is a former executive secretary of director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. He's been speaking with us.
And now the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Kofi-Boa, has declared forest reserves and river bodies and security zones that will be protected at all costs. He made the declaration at the closing ceremony of the week-long intensive training program for personnel of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat held in Sunyani.
This fight against illegal mining is not going to be stopped. And every measure at the president's disposal will be used. We charge you, as a government prepares to deploy you, for your permanent presence into the forest reserve and water bodies. Understand this clearly. These areas has now been declared by the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces as security zones. But for those who have decided that is the only places, including our forest reserves, is where they are going to make their money, your time is up.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Professor Ransford Jampo, says he still stands by his call for a state of emergency to be declared to fight the illegal small-scale mining, which is known as galamsey. Professor Jampo spoke earlier on the key points on TV3.
Galamsey is a war against all of us. Okay? People are killing us. We are being killed slowly. But when you respond, the one who is putting poison in our water to drink, and we are drinking and we are dying, if you eliminate him, you get people like Martin Kpebu to come and say that, but why should you do this? And so we must fight it. We must resort to all drastic measures to fight it. But when the same drastic measures are being resorted to, we'll come and sit here and talk.
Okay.
So what should we do? And so, well, I want to commend the minister. I told me this today, and I want to commend Kofi Bentel and this platform that if truly this idea was mooted on this, I mean, we have shaped so many things, you know, in Ghana, and I'm excited to be a member of this august platform. If this idea was thrown out there, you know, from this platform, then it's something good. And so I think that we should encourage the government. We should encourage the government to keep its foot on the pedal and to do more, even in the fight against, you know, Galamsey. It is not the case that it was good, it was bad yesterday and it can be good today. If it is worse, I expect and will continue to demand. Was it not here that I used the analogy that it is not good to be mopping a flat, okay, mopping the floor with a mop
when the tap is
when
open.
the tap is on. And for me, what I think must be done is that you shut the tap so that you can mop.
So you supported the declaration
so-
of the state of
and
emergency.
It's a position that I hold, that I'm not shying away from, so that if there are targeted areas that we can say that, hey, here it's an emergency, declare that state of emergency, in those targets, a targeted area. And so this, we are going to do X, Y, Z. I believe it will be the way to go.
Hossein Galamsey and convener of the Fix the Country movement, Oliver Bakavomo, says the fight against illegal mining must be depoliticized in order to achieve the desired outcome. Speaking earlier on the key points, he also called for clear plans from state agencies like the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, to outline clear strategies to clean up polluted lands and water bodies.
The security zone has no implication on the soil quality, water quality, and all of that.
Yeah.
So what is the plan? Like I've seen this consistently. I've seen the EPA put this out. I've seen the water folks complaining about this. So what is the plan? Like we don't have any roadmap from the EPA as to this is what we are doing to clean up. I'm not seeing anything from the Forestry Commission. I'm not seeing anything from what's the name, the Minerals Commission. In terms of even this NCCE's role in the conversation, I haven't seen it. In terms of leading the public advocacy, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any data or any conversation from the Ghana Health Service, which is telling us that these are what we anticipate. Kofi calls it people being born with 3 legs. This is what we anticipate in terms of the effects on humans, and this is how we are preparing for those. I don't know anything. So the fight has to be a bit more broader than boots on the ground at this point, because so much mess has already been done. So what is the plan? And also the process of depoliticizing the conversation as well is ensuring that the technocrats and institutions take the lead. I'm not seeing that happen. So that for me is more concerning as to the sustainability, as to how integrated all of this is.
So on the key point, as Vice President of Imani Africa, Kofi Bentil says the government should consider confiscating lands affected by illegal mining from traditional chiefs and placing them under state control to help tackle the menace. He says the declaration of security zones over forests and water bodies, though a welcoming move, is not far-reaching enough. Speaking on the key point, Kofi Bentil added that the reclamation aspect of mining license must be strictly enforced. Take a listen.
I am hoping that this government, with all the goodwill it has, actually does the substantive things that make a difference. I am happy that they listen. I'm happy that they've declared the security zones. It is not enough.
Yeah.
Let me explain. If you declare a security zone, how long can you keep the people there? Number 2, who owns the land? So there were a number of things that I said. And let me repeat. If somebody decides to go and pour mercury on the land, decides to go and put a champagne on the river and mess it, and the fishes are dead. If somebody decides to rip up a forest, and listen, the name forest reserve means we have reserved it from normal exploitation. How do you go into a reserve to go and rip it up and mine it? So my point is this. If somebody decides to do that, forfeit the land. They are poisoning the land and all of us are suffering from it. That chief should lose the land. So I'm saying go beyond security zones. If you catch somebody anywhere around the Galamsey place, forfeit that whole land to the state. That will bring up issues of ownership, etc. So even if you are not there, the person can access the land back.
While you're still watching Weekend Central here on TV3, we're going for our very first commercial break. We're back with more news. Stay with us.
Health professionals warn that the resultant financing gap could roll back years of progress in family planning campaigns.
For decades, international partners such as the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, provided critical funding for contraceptives, awareness campaigns, and community outreach. But with USAID and other partners reducing or cutting funding, Ghana has been left with a significant shortfall. Experts caution that the decline in funding threatens gains in reducing maternal deaths, preventing unintended pregnancies, and improving family well-being. With support dwindling, government is under pressure to develop sustainable domestic financing models to meet the growing demand.
Contraceptive manufacturing companies in Asia are closing down because of what we know has happened to USAID and the shift in donor priorities. So this leaves us very vulnerable, not only as Ghana, but the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. Our decades-long reliance on global funding, unfortunately, stands at a crossroad.
A decline in family planning services, they say, could trigger rising teenage pregnancies, unsafe abortions, and higher maternal and infant mortality, derailing Ghana's progress toward key health targets under the Sustainable Development Goals. At the launch of the Family Planning Week, the United Nations Fund for Population Activities, UNFPA, which currently supplies about 40% of Ghana's family planning commodities, hinted that it may not be able to sustain the support.
The financial changes are heading towards places where there are severe challenges, where they have war and hunger. So because of that, the support for family planning may reduce from their end. But we think that it must not reduce from our end. Otherwise, the gains we have chalked as a nation in family planning will get eroded. And then we begin to have challenges. The good news here is that the government of Ghana has taken steps to ensure that the Minister for Finance will make money available to mitigate the immediate shortage that we'll get in terms of the gaps.
Government has since initiated processes for the National Health Insurance Scheme to absorb 20% of the cost of family planning commodities. But with donor support fading fast, Ghana stands at a crossroads. Without urgent action to secure sustainable domestic funding, years of progress in women's health and population management risk being reversed, leaving vulnerable families without the care they need. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, let's stay on health. From January 2026, a national pet vaccination card, MPVC, will be issued for every vaccinated dog or cat by the Veterinary Services Department. And these measures will make rabies vaccination mandatory nationwide and ensure proper tracking, harmonized reporting, and reliable national data generation. Chief Veterinary Officer Dr. Emmanuel Aleje Kujo addressed journalists in Accra as Ghana joined the world to mark Global Rabies Day yesterday.
16,250 adults and 4,715 children from religious bodies have been sensitized through 99 churches and 22 mosques as faith-based platforms, while millions of community members have been reached through 72 media outlets to ensure sustained rabies prevention and contribute to the global agenda of zero human deaths from dog-mediated rabies by the year 2030. The Veterinary Services Directorate is introducing and reinforcing the following measures: mandatory vaccination and certification. I'm glad to announce to all that from January 2026, a national pet vaccination cards will be issued for every vaccinated dog or cat by the VSD, private veterinary services providers. This measure will make rabies vaccination mandatory nationwide and ensure proper tracking, harmonized reporting,
and reliable national data generation. Dog and cat population surveys. Under this measure, district veterinary officers are initiating structured survey to establish accurate dog and cat population figures. This exercise will generate reliable national data to support evidence-based planning, resource allocation, and vaccination coverage.
Now, Chief of Staff at the Office of the Vice President, Alex Sebefia, has urged local government authorities to align with the reset agenda by government to ensure governance is brought closer to the people for effective service delivery. He was speaking on behalf of the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, at the closing ceremony of a two-day national dialogue on decentralization in Accra.
Across these 2 days, one word has echoed consistently: reset. Reset is the language of the government. Reset is the call of this dialogue. Reset is the recognition that while progress has been made, it is not enough. Reset means aligning ministries with local authorities to end duplication and confusion. Reset means ensuring that physical reforms provide adequate, predictable, and equitable resources to MMDAs. The presentations and discussion at this national dialogue do not claim to capture the full picture, but they have generated rich insights that will feed directly into the new NDPS 2026 to 2030. This strategy will not be written in isolation. It will be shaped by the voices heard here. As we move forward, let us remember that decentralization is not an abstract concept. It is a promise enshrined in our Constitution, a promise to bring governance closer to the people, to make it more accountable, more inclusive, and more effective.
You're watching the Weekend Central on TV3. Let us know what you make of stories that have aired so far. We are active on Facebook, it's TV3 Ghana. And let's move away from that. One post, one click. That is all it can take for social media to reconnect long-lost friends, families and loved ones torn apart by time and distance. Christopher Success Trevor explores social media as a tool for reconnection and the risks of finding lost loved ones online.
What happens when a parent disappears? Not because they abandoned you, but because deportation forced them away. And for decades, all you had was silence. Now imagine, after 30 years, one post online brings them back. That is exactly what the internet witnessed weeks ago. A daughter separated from her father for decades, finally finding him again in Ghana. This story may be unique, but the tool that made it possible is not. Social media is fast becoming the bridge across lost years. From Facebook searches to TikTok videos and Twitter hashtags, one post can now travel across continents in seconds. A name, a face, even a half-remembered story is enough to spark global attention, and sometimes to bring loved ones back into each other's lives.
Social media has its positives. You can easily reconnect with lost loved ones. One day you can come across a picture or a post of someone that you've lost contact with, and through that you can rekindle or reconnect. And it can also be a channel for you to also repair broken relationships.
For those who reunite, the emotions are raw: joy, relief, even grief for years that can never be reclaimed. But behind every viral happy ending is a complicated reality. Experts say families need time, support, and even counseling to truly rebuild those bonds.
When there's a hollowness in us by virtue of distance, by virtue of uncertainty, counseling is very important in all our human endeavor, and especially in this because there's vacuum created. You have to go through how, why, what, and all those ones. Somebody must guide you. So they are expert psychologists, they are clinical psychologists, they are counselors, they are all of those people who will help you, experts who will help you adapt and integrate.
What social media shows in 30 seconds is often just the beginning of a long journey of healing. But the same tools that reconnect can also be exploited. Families desperate for reconnection often reveal too much. And that is where scammers strike.
Fake profiles, too, is identity theft, emotional manipulations. So you realize that social media is not really a safe space for you to find loved ones, unless maybe the person who connected you to that or recommended the person can be someone you really trust. Because with AI, anything is possible. You can easily impersonate someone's voice. Even the video calls cannot really be trusted.
Experts advise families to verify identities, avoid oversharing, and seek help from trusted networks before taking the search public.
Do your research so you know what you're looking for, but don't give away too much, like we said, so that you are dependent on them to give you the answers and respond. Then, if you are in doubt, push it as far as ask for a DNA result.
Still, when handled carefully, social media has become a lifeline. From NGOs tracing missing children to diaspora groups helping long-lost relatives find one another, community-driven searches are rewriting family histories. But what do ordinary Ghanaians think about stories like this?
Social media is good helping people find their lost relatives, but there's a negative side of it too. People use the images for scam.
People might target you, where you live, and every information you give out, they can use that against you.
Hope and caution side by side. Both truths mirror what social media has become, a place of connection and of risk.
One social media post can change a life. For some, it means recovering years of lost time. For others, it is a reminder that behind the screen are real emotions and real risk. Social media is fast, but it is yet unpredictable. Families do reconnect, yet also get deceived and exploited. More than just a platform, it has become a bridge, sometimes fragile, sometimes strong, sometimes connecting those we thought were lost forever. Just use it wisely. Christabel Success Trevor, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, what social media can do, the power of social media. That takes us to a second break. Keep watching TV3. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Now, the Tema Development Company, TDC, has announced plans to build at least some 200 accommodation facilities in Ho in the Volta region. The project, according to the company, is part of a broader nationwide development plan intended to provide affordable accommodation units to the Ghanaian public as government moves to address the widening housing deficit in the country.
The project, which will be replicated across the country, is expected to commence in November and will lead to the building of several modern and affordable apartments in places like Ho. More than 1,000 acres of land has already been secured in Ho by the Ministry of Works and Housing towards the project. Managing Director of the Tema Development Company, Courage Nunekbeku, who led a delegation to the site on Wednesday, told TV3 News that the move is in line with government's resetting agenda.
This is Works and Housing, land that we have applied for as an agency under Works and Housing, and they have been kind to us by giving us an allocation. It's a vast land, 1,860 acres of land, which we are going to have a portion and develop into affordable housing, real affordable housing for the people of Volta region, and specifically Ho. It's not only Ho, it's a regional thing. Volta region just happens to be the first place we are coming. We are going to the Eastern region, Ashanti region, Central region. In fact, we are touching base with all the existing regions.
As of 2024, Ghana's housing deficit was estimated to be approximately 1.8 million units, a figure consistent with estimates from previous years. Paramount Chief of the Asogli State, Togui Apede XIV, who first received the delegation from TDC and the ministry, commended government for taking what he describes as a bold step towards reducing the deficit while reaffirming the commitment of the traditional authorities to the project.
Housing has always been a problem across the country. It looks like we've always enjoyed talking about the housing deficit. The first time I heard the talk about housing deficit, talking about 700,000. Then we went to 1.7 billion. I don't know where we are today. So I'm glad that you try to, grab the bull by the horn and begin to solve this problem. And with so many people unemployed, it suggests that you should have a problem having the labor to pursue your project. Indeed, it's a paradox that with so much that we have to do, we have unemployment. We need to build our roads. We need to build houses. So when there's so much to do, it's quite paradoxical that, there is joblessness.
In Ho alone, more than 200 two-bedroom apartments are expected to be delivered in the next 2 years to accommodate the city's growing population. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3.
And now the Ghana Premier League is home on TV3 every week. TV3 gives you 3 live GPL matches, the biggest games, the fiercest rivalries, and the brightest stars brought straight to your screens with world-class coverage. But that's not all. We set the stage with our GPL preview show, giving you the inside scoop and expert analysis. And when the final whistle blows, we keep you covered with our highlight and review program, so you never miss a goal, a save, or a talking point. For the fans who love to stay connected on the go, we have reels and updates on social media. This is more than just coverage. This is TV3 positioning the Ghana Premier League as premium sports product. So mark your calendars, gather your friends, and join us this weekend for another unforgettable round of Ghana Premier League football, only on TV3. You know one thing, when you hold it, we do it to the best level.
Yes. We are the best when it comes to everything.
No
From news to football, anything, TV3 is your go-to station. So that's our wrap-up bulletin this afternoon. My name is Judith Brown. I've been doing this with...
My name is George Quinn. For more news updates, just log on to our website, it's 3news.com, or alternatively, you can join the team at 7 on News 360. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Good afternoon. slowly and steadily to the grand event on the 4th of October at the Accra International Conference Center. It promises to be exciting, and I'm sure you don't want to miss out on that. But of course, today on the show, we're bringing you 4 amazing personalities, female personalities.